do this. See what some people are talking about today.
Yes, Islam. This is September 17th, 2013. First of all, remember this Saturday and Sunday at the Japanese Canadian Cultural Center, Toronto Naturals and Natural Butterfly presents 2013 Toronto Natural Hair and Beauty Show. Right, so natural hair and beauty. Now, there's natural hair and then, you know,
unnatural beauty.
Yeah, unnatural beauty. Right?
Unnatural hair, unnatural beauty.
Yeah, like this is the natural. Right? Because we did, the sister at class asked, you know, yeah, what's going on next week? And we're like, oh yeah, the hair show. You know what I mean? And she looked at me like, hair show? What do you mean hair show? No, natural hair show. Oh, okay, I get it. You know,
no,
it makes a difference too.
People think I put a perm in this.
Yeah.
They look at me like, what you do? I didn't do shit. What do you mean, what did I washed the shit today. Like, what do you mean, what did I do to my hair? You would go out and try to do this?
It's natural.
It is what it is, bro. I didn't go and do nothing extra to the shit. I wet it. It got wet, and that's it.
And that's it. Simple things, right? So the hair show. Right, so that's Sunday. And then 5:45 p.m. To 6:45, Canaanland Moors have their little hour of
like
workshop time.
Okay.
Yeah, presentation time. Yeah. So, you know, we hit them up for an hour.
Okay.
Right. As well, Moorish Heritage and History School, Eyes Wide Open Blog Talk, 9:30 p.m. So you can check that out. Call in number 347-945-5899. All right. So today we're talking about fezzes. Talking about fezzes because I got hype last night.
Yeah.
I got hype last night, and I was watching the some black guys stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The black guys YouTube stuff. You know what I mean? The SETI guys and King Noble and these people. You know, because I never watched their stuff ever.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah. You don't even check.
Yeah. Like
nothing.
what for? Right. I'm like, let me just
See what's going on.
You know what I mean? So this whole thing with SETI came up, and they're just bashing the fez, like bashing the fez so hard, right? Saying it came from Turks and, you know, dissing Noble Drew Ali and
Turks
whatever.
built Easter Island, unless
Yeah, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna go to some, you know, just a little, you know, we're gonna just go through some stuff today.
Okay.
With regard to the fez. That, you know, it was just last night, or just online last night, just doing research. Got 32 pages, right, of just about the fez, nothing crazy, right? That if these people, that all these people are backing, right, are saying that their lecturer and their presenter and their scholar and, you know what I mean, sit on the couch and make a DVD and all those type of stuff like that, you better know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, that's the thing. You don't want to go up in that dynamic and not know what's really good.
You better know what you're talking about. And then also too, put this thing to rest right here too. The whole Europeans Moors and the crap that people are confused about, commenting for 2 weeks about some stupid ass status, right? Circle 7, end of time and fulfilling of prophecies. We as a clean and pure nation, descended from the inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of pale-skinned nations of Europe. Right? So there are pale-skinned nations of Europe, and there are unpale-skinned nations, right, of Europe. You never said Europeans in here.
Europe.
He said Europe, the place, and in that place, the pale-skinned people there we don't want to have any type of amalgamation with them or marrying to be in their thing. Why? Not because it's cracker and because the troglodyte and we don't want to sleep with animals and whatever, right? But it's because those particular pale-skinned nations, right, aren't part of the human family. So there's no amalgamating them.
Even if you
with them,
you can't even force it.
Right? There's no anything with them. They're separate entity. They don't even. They're not even a nation. They can't even claim a nation. Right? Pass me grandma's picture right there. Right? So pale-skinned nations of Europe is who we're, you know what I mean, not dealing with. Okay? Now here's a picture right here. Oh yeah, and this is in
south of Italy.
Festa del whatever, Italian.
Oh no, that's the festival of the acorn. Or if you do the Google, someone do.
All right,
Google.
so Google this, right?
Festival of something.
So this is the little booklet that this is coming out of, right? It's Italian. And then in here they have this lady right here.
Karen
right?
walking the donkey.
Just walking the donkey.
Has a little
and
head.
we can clearly see that
head.
she doesn't fall under the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Right? Like we know she doesn't fall under the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Right? But she's Italian. Right? So, just putting it out there that these individuals who I back, right? You know what I mean? I'm talking for myself. I'm talking for nobody else, no members of the temple, nothing. Right? Kudrado El backs some Europeans because they know who they are. They're not confused about the Moors are my ancient foremothers and forefathers, and whether they created me in a lab or whether I came out of a womb, right? I know who my parents are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my parents are the Moors, right? So one of the brothers came to check me last night, right? It's just a European that I back because known him 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Never did any arms out to me.
Yeah,
no sideways, nothing, right? Even though, you know, I could count hands, feet, you know what I mean, hair strands, how many people who look like me, right?
Come on some sideways.
Came on some sideways, short changing vibes with me. You know what I'm saying? Not taking nothing away from, you know, the brothers, but, you know what I'm saying? Right? Because these so-called people that are just, who have a lower concentration of melanin than I do, right? They have an active pineal gland. And how you know they have an active pineal gland? Because he brought me this one, right?
Trust me, face up.
Silver Hawks, no more Mr. Nice Guy, right? With Yes Man, rocking the fez. All right? And then Yes Man's a serpent, even though he looks like a monkey in this picture.
No, I hear what you're saying.
Right? But they put a fez on him. Right? Okay. African history versus biblical myths. This is so-called who you guys saying that, oh yeah, these guys do, you can't have nothing to do with these guys or whatever, right? Because they're the devil. They're not part of the family of nations or whatever, right? Rastafari repatriate to Shashamani. Okay. It's just stuff he has in his archives that he brought down so I could put them on DVD. Right? So keep in mind that no matter what anybody says, right? These people like Latif Bey, right?
Shout out to Latif Bey.
That Moors are sending him messages and shit, threatening him. When he's talking about what Moors talk about. Nothing different. Nothing different. And Moors. Moors.
Thank you.
Moors.
Moors.
Not Europeans.
Well, the funny thing is, if I'm a Moor, it doesn't matter if I regard Latif Bey as a Moor or not. If I regard myself as a Moor, who am I? Why am I operating in a threatening manner if I'm peace, love, truth, justice,
right?
And I want to go attack the guy?
Automatically.
Equal, truth, justice, equal right, this, that. But no, I want to go attack him because something's not fair or level or.
Right. Brothers. They might have a lower concentration of melanin than I do, but some of them, I'm gonna back them before I back some of these niggers out here. Like Seti. Let's get back to what we're here for.
Say names.
So everybody, if you know Seti, let them know, and all these other more hating black guys, right? The black supremacy and black power and all that BS that they're trying to pull on people, right? They're gonna go out, they can go online, or if you have a copy, just copy it for them and take this for them, right? Clock of Destiny Volume 1, right?
12 signs.
Your master key of civilization, right? And this is by, for those who don't know, there he is right there, the master teacher. Let me get everything right. CMB, PhD, LLD, 3rd, 33rd, 360-degree Master Mason, Free Moorish Master Astrologer, Moorish Constitutional Lawgiver. The headdress of our Moorish forefathers. The red fez with the symbol of the star and crescent or moon, without the symbol of the sword, is the headdress of the Moors in this hemisphere. The Moorish fez represents the supreme height of wisdom and practical knowledge of the science of the 12 signs of the zodiac, the universal law and constitution upon which civilization is founded. Today, the red fez of the cultured Moors is worn by white sons, quote unquote, wizards of the order of Christ, namely the Protestants, Methodists, Baptists, and the Jewry, or Jewish, of the United States of America. The red fez worn by these sons have the star and crescent with the symbol of a sword worn by these sons have a star and crescent with a symbol of a sword on top, which represents the subjugation of the Moorish women. The Christian Bible is the book of the dead image worship. The term Mason implies master, messen, M-E-S-S-E-N, or messenger, which simply means one who possesses scientific knowledge of the works of nature as shown in the 12 signs of the zodiac. Such knowledge makes one conscious of the fact that his universal mind makes him free to propagate truth contrary to secrets, falsehood, and imperialism. Right? Now, because all of our people who are considered, for lack of a better term, unconscious Moors, right? When they follow off after these idiots, right, that are trying to tell them that they should abandon their culture, right? This is what these idiots are doing to them, that they don't know because they don't have any law dictionaries, they don't read anything to know what is going on. They just go on strictly emotion and that's it, right? No 12 signs of the zodiac, no universal mind, none of that, right?
That's true.
Abandon, to desert, surrender, forsake, or cede, to relinquish or give up with intent of never again resuming one's right or interest, to give up or to cease to use, to give up absolutely, to forsake entirely, to renounce utterly, to relinquish all connection with or concern in. Right? Abandon. Right? So the first rule that Noble Drew Ali said is honor thy father and thy mother. Right? Because we have to go back to that mind frame in order to get ourselves out of this mess that we got ourselves into. Right? Now, the point to be made is that the fez is the headdress of our Moorish forefathers. Right? So if the fez is the headdress of our Moorish forefathers, and Noble Drew Ali said, honor thy father and thy mother, and we look up abandon, and abandon says to desert, surrender, to give up or cease, to give up absolutely, to forsake entirely, to renounce utterly. They're doing that to their ancient foremothers and forefathers. But then they're gonna wanna wonder, why is our situation so bad? Forget that they're calling themselves black. They already condemned themselves by casting away their ancient foreparents'
gave up on the ancestors.
Headdress. Right? Gave up on their ancestors. So for all the people who are sincere, we're going to give you back what your ancestors had. So you can be clear that this headdress right here doesn't come from some Arabs, some pale Arabs. Right? This headdress right here doesn't come from some troglodyte cave dweller. This is the headdress of the Moors. And we're going to go into everything so we can know where it came from, how the Moors get it, right? Why the Moors have it? How the Moors get this headdress?
Why is that the...
Right?
Why isn't it a baseball cap? Why isn't it, you know,
right.
Why is it that?
Well, why is it that the headdress of the Moors is also called a capital city in Morocco, where everybody knows Moors come from? Like, it's not even anything to, you just ask somebody, where Moors come from? It's Morocco, or Mauritania, or somewhere up there, the northern part. All right, right? So that's abandon. Now, abandonment, to surrender, relinquish, to surrender, relinquishment, disclaimer, or cession of property or of rights. So
property or of rights.
Right. So if we look at abandon, right now, the fez, since this is our ancient foremothers and forefathers' headdress, right? It's property of theirs. All right. Then it was passed down to us, and now we got it, and now it's our property. Right. So by casting this off, you abandon the property. Right? Because you listen to some idiot on YouTube, right? Who his master teacher, that he says this is my master teacher, has a doctorate in Moorish history from the University of Spain. And he's bashing, basically, so he even gave up on his master teacher, abandoned his master teacher. Because his master teacher has the knowledge of the fez if he has a doctorate in Moorish history.
He should have.
There's no way that he has a doctorate in Moorish history and he doesn't have the full scope. Forget what he said in books that he wrote and whatever. Let's just look at common sense. He has a doctorate in Moorish history, not African history. That all the books that he wrote about African whatever, not Sumerian, Phoenician, black people, whatever, of all the stuff that they put in their books. His doctorate is of Moorish history. And that's this guy's master teacher. And he's going to be bashing the fez. Okay. Right? So if they cast the fez off, right?
They give up.
Everybody has the right to a nationality, right? International community came out and said that everybody has a right to a nationality. So if the headdress of our ancient foremothers and forefathers is national in character, right? Meaning that it's a custom.
Yeah.
Right? The fez is a custom, not just put on a hat because you want to put on a hat, like you're saying baseball hats or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Why
right?
is it not a helmet?
Custom.
Why is it not a baseball hat? Why is it not
a custom? Right? Being that they cast away the property, they cast away their nationality. And that's why we can't blame the European for anything, because we did it. Because we're the ones that abandoned. Right?
Regardless of how someone else treats you, how do you deal with yourself?
How you deal with yourself, regardless of how somebody treats you. How you deal with yourself. It'll be victim, they stole everything from us or whatever. No, you abandoned it. And just like we already talked about, you abandon $100, somebody's coming behind you and they're picking it up. And they're not coming to tap you on the shoulder, you dropped $100. Sorry. Like, times are hard, places in debt, like
I'm gonna go use this fake money right now.
I'm gonna use this fake money right now. Somebody that needs rent, or somebody's calling me for this right here. Right? Baby need food or something. You know what I mean? So once you abandon, so remember that once you abandon, right, you're giving up the thing absolutely. And you have no intention of going back to get it. Which is double judgment. Which is why we're getting judgment right now, and everybody around us is living prosperous. As far as our people. We look across the street and see some people that aren't from this side, and they have a house and 2-car driveway and you know what I mean, big job, and they're not even from here. And the people who are from here can't even get their stuff together because they're arguing about who's a Moor and who's not a Moor and who's this and that. Right? Before we get there, so what it comes down to is selective thinking. Right? So these abandoners, right? The abandoners are selective thinkers. Right?
Fair enough.
And selective thinking is the process whereby one selects out favorable evidence for remembrance and focus while ignoring unfavorable evidence for a belief. Right? So their belief is that black power, black supremacy, or whatever is going to save them. Right? That's their belief. That once we just march one more time, and we'll get the freedom.
It'll happen.
Let's rally one more time.
You just gotta do it.
Let's have 1 more million youth, whatever. And if you have a million youth thing today, and tomorrow a youth man gets shot up, the world's looking at you like you guys have serious mental problems. Right? Now, what did the prophets tell us? Again, comes back to, because remember, if his so-called master teacher, right? If his so-called master teacher has a doctorate in Moorish history, he knows about Noble Drew Ali too, right? And they're gonna quote all this stuff, and Aquarian gospel is the circle 7 and all this type of stuff, right? But they're not gonna go into the lesson to see that it's universal law, no matter where it comes from. So what? Levi Dowell is a European. So he went to Tibet just like the prophet to go get the stuff. You know what I mean? Just like if me and you want the same, if you want a pumsite, you're not gonna go there to No Frills to go get no pumsite.
No.
Right? You gotta go to Caribbean store.
Yeah, you're gonna go somewhere.
Right? You know what I mean? Right? Now we're going to chapter 7, right? Lamas asks, pray, what is faith? And Jesus said, faith is the surety of omnipotence of Allah and man, the certainty that man will reach the deific life. Salvation is a ladder reaching from the heart of man to the heart of Allah. It has 3 steps. Belief is first, and that is what man thinks perhaps is truth. Right? So when man thinks perhaps this is true without studying,
it's a lot of maybes.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of maybes. There's going to be a lot of just throwing stuff out and hope people buy. Right? And people buy when people do lectures and they talk about, as soon as they start talking about the Moors in a negative, well, you know, the Moors put our people in slavery, and the Moors were the ones who, whatever, oh yeah, crowds going crazy
for that
you know what I mean? They're going crazy for that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But belief is first. And this is what man thinks perhaps is truth.
Not what he knows is true. Not what is for sure.
All right.
Not what is a for sure fact.
All right.
It's just what I kind of think. And there's 7 billion people on the planet, so everyone can think what they want to think.
And that's why Noble Drew Ali's made the statement too, that opinion is no proof of truth. So belief is first, and this is what man thinks perhaps is truth. And faith is next, and this is what man knows is truth. Right? So they're not even on the faith degree. They don't have any faith in the fez. They just see that as some Masonic thing or whatever, and I don't even want nothing to do with that because those guys are devil worshippers and they have the owl and lost. Right?
It's almost like they switched the definitions of faith and belief.
Yeah.
And have people thinking
belief.
Faith is almost like moving blindly and just thinking this is true.
Right.
When faith is, I know that's for real.
Fruition is last, and this is man himself, the truth. Right? And when you become the truth, then you're a fezzes. Because you know what the hell you're talking about. Because you study. Study. And when you finish studying and you ask, what should I study next? You're going to study yourself after that. Because it's all about know thyself. Belief is lost in faith, and in fruition, belief is lost in faith, and in fruition, faith is lost. And man is saved when he has reached deific life, when he and Allah are one. Okay. We're trying to make these people one with Allah. Mombasa. Ivory traders load their cargo at the port of Mombasa, Kenya in 1922.
Okay.
So remember, Fez comes from Turks. Right?
But this is 1920.
This is 1922, Kenya, which is Africa, where these guys say, you know, that's where they're repping. Right? Okay. That's what they're repping. Right? Okay. So if you're repping fezzes in Kenya, right? And then there's these people that say that I'm a slave from Africa, and you're gonna say that you know yourself, and you're gonna wear dashikis and kente cloth and use shea butter soap and plantain soap and all these so-called African customs. Why don't you take your fez back? Right? These are Africans, so-called, from Kenya, wearing fezzes. How come Seti didn't show this picture when he's bashing? Because, you know, this is Africa, right? And this is what we're getting at with abandoning. Because once you abandon, you burned your bridge. You trapped yourself. Right? Trapped yourself. fez, and this is Ancient Order of freeasiatics.com. You're going to want to check that website out.
Free order.
Ancient Order of freeasiatics.com.
Okay.
Right? You're going to want to check that website out, because that's one of these black groups out there, but they recognize Noble Drew Ali and their Moorish nationality.
Okay.
But you don't hear nobody talking about them. Because if you bring them up, then you're going to realize that everybody's on Moorish science. And all these jokers that people think because they have some videos on YouTube, right? Internet scholars, you know, think that they got some info. But they don't have nothing. The fez is a derivation of the base of Aku Kufu. 360 degrees is a circle. The circle has no beginning nor ending. It is infinite. It is the sign of perfection. The fez is the perfect headdress. The dimension and geometry of the fez are perfect mathematics. When we born supreme mathematics, we know that Aku Kufu are perfect structures. The Aku Kufu is symbolic of the temple of perfected man, a temple that can never be destroyed. All the answers are within self. The fez is a universal crown of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and is internationally recognized as such. The fez contains a world of significant symbolism for those who understand and are conscious of what it represents. The history of this majestic crown starts with it originally being white. The oppressive powers put the Asiatics into a pit of lions, unless they would denounce the first true and divine creed for the redemption of the Asiatics, which is Islam. The lions ripped them apart because they had been eating the flesh of animals. The only thing left on the Asiatics was the fez, stained with blood. From that day on, Asiatics used white, red, and black fezzes, as it was called in those days, the hiram, or high ram. The top of the fez is flat. It stands for the uncompleted portion of the pyramid. The tassel represents the cable used to raise the capstone on top of the Aku Kufu, or it may also represent the imperial potentate who is assigned to finish the job. The shade of the tassel signifies the unseen reason why the job was left unfinished. Under the head of the wearer is the vault where the treasures of the science are preserved. The red fez represents the skill and wisdom of the man who erected the pyramid, Aku Kufu. The black fez represents the chief protectors of the jewels and treasures inside the pyramid. Equally important, the fez is symbolic of the halo. It is the same halo that lingers above the cherubims and seraphim head. The fez is the official headdress of the men of the Moorish nation. The history of the turban can be found in Joshua chapter 2 and Judges chapter 13 and 7. Such is the significance of King Solomon's crown. The fez indicated that as a master of the temple, he is the anointed one.
Solomon dropping the fez.
Yeah. Right. And then of all ancient Egyptian pharaohs, King Khufu has received little recognition, although his contribution to the world of architecture is known around the world and is in fact one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world and one of the top 5 sites in Egypt today. Construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza has begun during his 26-year reign. King Snefru, another of the ancient Egyptian pharaohs and Khufu's father, was also quite prolific at pyramid building, and it is thought that King Khufu's Great Pyramid might have been inspired by watching his father. Right? So we're talking about ancient Kemet. Right? As you know, the Egyptologists say, before the Moors. right? To say that the Moors aren't ancient, right? Before the Moors, right? And we showed this one already, but we're just going to put it up again, right? No.
It looks like he has a high top from
right?
80s haircut.
So, Khufu, Pharaoh of so-called Egypt, Kemet, Egyptologists, you guys know the crew, right? You know the crew, all the Egyptologists and those guys, right? That never ever talk about Moors or fezzes at all. And they know what the Great Pyramid is. They know what that is. They show you pictures of that. They put that on t-shirts and
show
whatever,
you all the time.
right? But how come nobody talks about ancient Kemet having fezzes? This is ancient Kemet.
The tassel on top.
Right? Kemet. Where people say, oh yeah, we're Kemet, the black land and all that stupid stuff right there. Right? About the black land. Land of the blacks. Land of the blacks with fezzes on. Obviously they're not black people. Right? Because especially Moors know that they're not black people. And they'll defend that to the death that they're not black people. Right? Again, we're talking about ancient Kemet. Like, how come they don't tell you about?
And even though their
Kemet
headdress looks like
in stone,
bam, boxed up, just
right? In stone. So you know how ancient this is? Like, take a sec and just think about how ancient this is. That in Kemet, in stone, just like a pyramid, right? Nobody knows how they build that pyramid. Nobody knows how they build these structures, these huge structures. Okay, well, they have fezzes on them. Back then, before Moors, before they started calling people Moors or whatever, they had fezzes on in Kemet. Right? Abandonment means you dash all this away. You can't claim Kemet and not claim the fezzes. You can't claim Africa and not claim the fezzes. Because once you abandon, you give it all up.
Never to return.
Never to return to get it. Yeah, man, good, look good. Then that's the fez right there. Nobody can tell me that's not a fez right there. Right? Or this one.
It's a number 1, 2, 3.
Right? No way. No way those are fezzes. Right? And people are going to have y'all thinking that Kemet had nothing to do with fezzes. Right? Hera, Greek, is the wife and one of the 3 sisters of Zeus in the Olympian pantheon of Greek mythology and religion. Her chief function was as the goddess of women and marriage. Her counterpart in the religion of ancient Rome was Juno. The cow, lion, and peacock were considered sacred to her. Hera's mother is Rhea and her father Kronos. Right? Greeks know. Now this is how they
That's a very interesting Greek
Hera.
statue. That's an interesting Greek statue.
Right? This is a Greek statue of the god Hera. And you tell me that other than the pale skin nations don't have claim just like we have claim? They know who they are. And just make sure you go do the research, right, on Hera. That's how it's spelled right there. And every single one, whatever they make of her, has a fez on it.
Whatever likeness.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. Once it's Hera, there's a fez on it, or some type of headdress. Right? Just go do research yourself. But we're not here to baby anybody. The Cowichan tribes, First Nations government, located in and around Cowichan Valley and Duncan, British Columbia, is the single largest band government in British Columbia. When the band was created pursuant to the Indian Act, 7 nearby peoples were forced to amalgamate. Right? Remember, we shall not amalgamate. Mm-hmm. Right? Into one band. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The Kwamishan are the largest cultural group, but the nation also includes Clematus, CLEM, ALUTS, Comican, COMIAKEN, Kenipsin, KH, Kufu, KH, British Columbia. We're talking about KH in British Columbia. And then we just showed Kufu, who's KH, but he's all the way across the Atlantic in Egypt. Oh, yeah, and then he was wearing a fez?
Yeah, he was rocking the hat.
Okay.
Kufu.
Kenipsin, KHENIPSEN. Kilfalas, KILPAHLAS. Coxilla, KOKSILAH, right? Or that could be Sila, mm-hmm. right? in British Columbia, mm-hmm. right? What's Sila doing in British Columbia? And Somena, SOMENA. The lower reaches of the Cowichan Valley, particularly the area stretching from the present location of Duncan down to Cowichan Bay, okay. Mm-hmm. Cowichan Bay, right? And we're bringing up Cowichan Bay so we can big up little brother Rocky and Moses, the 16-year-old and 19-year-old who we did a Skype with a little while ago.
Okay.
And then he was talking about that. He came to the realization that, damn, there's all these bays in Florida. And until I started getting into knowledge, I didn't understand mm-hmm. why they were not B-A-Y, B-E-Y. Mm-hmm. Right? So Cowichan Bay. Mm-hmm. Right? It says B-A-Y, but we already know where we're going, right? Was heavily settled by various Cowichan tribes, right? So, let me drink before I So the Cowichan tribes now. So this is the Cowichan tribes.
And that reminds me a lot like the Easter
the Easter Island head. Yeah, exactly. Right,
and you see the cylindrical look.
Yeah, and there's no other
tapered at the top.
There's no other headwear that this could be. Right, and just like you said, just like the Easter Island, mm-hmm. and they recognize, mm-hmm. even though it's bigger than the head on Easter Island, they know that those are fezzes. Mm-hmm. Right. Cowichan Bay. Remember Hera. Remember Hera. It was Herodotus that stated, almost all the names of the gods came into Greece from Egypt. My inquiries prove that they were derived from a foreign source. And in my opinion, is that Egypt furnished the great number. Besides these which have been here mentioned, there are many other practices whereof I shall speak hereafter, which the Greeks have borrowed from Egypt. Right? And like I was saying, every picture of Hera, right? So here's another picture of Hera.
She's rocking the box.
Right? Like, that is nothing else that she's rocking. Can't be anything else. Only one thing it could be. And what they say, that the Greeks got it from Egypt. Right? That's where they got the culture from. And then, you know, once again, you know, Egypt was really Kemet, right? And this is 1922 Cairo. Okay. 1922 Cairo. Turbans and fezzes. And some people with nothing on. Right.
It looks like everyone's wearing something. Actually, I don't see anyone without something.
And then look at this man right here in the back with the tall fez.
Yeah, a huge one there.
Right. And then look at this man right here, looking like the Rasta man from Bobo Hill. Right. You know. But
and then this next brother with the bow tie, but his
right.
suited up.
You know, he's suited up, right? You know. Okay. Cairo. Right.
The Family Guy?
No.
I swear I've seen in Family Guy all the time. They kill it. You know what I mean?
Right. Warner Brothers. Merry Melodies. Right. And there's this old man with a fez on. And then once again, Gravity Falls. And then they just got the fez just hanging, just sitting there. It's got the head, it's got the fez just sitting there. It's cartoon for children. Right. And then, you know, obviously the next scene, the fez falls off that thing onto her head. Right.
Of course.
Of course.
What was I thinking?
Everybody remember Pump Up the Jam, Technotronic? Right, Technotronic. Right. There's Technotronic right there. There's a sister with her fez on. There's the tassel right there.
Yeah, with the tassel.
You know, when she has her fez on. Right. Pump up the jam, pump it up.
Yeah.
We're rocking the fez.
People dancing in the club and all types of
right.
video came on, you're in the living room and
right. Everybody knows about their birthright except Negro black color people. Right. This one's India, 1930.
Full tassel, everything.
The full works. Right? Full works. Because people have to see and realize that it's not a Euro thing. It's not a white man thing.
It's not a Mason.
It's not a Masonic lodge thing.
Yeah.
Right? CMB told you. This is the headdress of the Moors. Ancient foremothers and forefathers headwear. Right? And everybody picking up your $100. Everybody. Right? Everybody picking up your $100. Right? Just because, you know, we're the founders of civilization, so we don't have to turn around and pick up the $100. Somebody's gonna run up bringing it to me because I created those races. So there am I every call and beckon.
Yeah, and that's why we're in where we are.
Shut the hell up. Right? DC Comics.
Okay.
The first Citadelian brother of Oron and child of the goddess Jal, adopted the technology of the Scions in order to betray his family and clone his own race of beings called Citadelians. The Citadel established an empire in the vegan star system. in order to conquer worlds with help from a computer called Complex. Various dictators arose to power, but Complex was always the man behind the curtain. The rulers were Lord Damon, Commander, and the Chief. Right? And here is Lord Damon and Commander. Commander is the robot man in the back. And Lord Damon's the big gorilla with the fez on.
fez, rocking the fez.
Rocking the fez. Right? DC Comics even has your $100 that you don't want. Right? DC Comics. Right? Everybody knows about our stuff, except these so-called lecturers and people dissing their birthright, abandoning their birthright. Like crazy people. William Harper Bennett founded the Order of Alhambra on February 29th, 1904 in Brooklyn, New York, as a Catholic, fraternal, and social organization. It was named after the Alhambra, a Moorish palace in Granada, Spain, where the Moors surrendered to Ferdinand and Isabella in 1492, after occupying Spain for almost 800 years. Within sight of the Alhambra's red towers, the saintly Columbus received the first favorable reply to his lifelong prayers for assistance to embark on his voyage of discovery.
Okay, read that again, please. Sorry. Just the last one.
Within sight of the Alhambra, red towers, the saintly Columbus received the first favorable reply to his lifelong prayers for assistance to embark on his voyage of discovery. The order, in addition to adopting the name of the Moorish palace, uses the colorful oriental costuming and setting. The emblem of the order is the red tower of Castile, surmounting the crescent of the Saracen, typifying the triumph of Christianity over the Moors. The fez worn by the members of the order has this emblem as its prominent centerpiece. The order has been honored by Pope John Paul II accepting a fez. Right?
And this was established in 1904, and Pope John Paul is standing there collecting the fez.
Collecting the fez, the honorary fez. That you said, the little hat, the little Jewish yarmulke that the Pope wears is really the top of the fez without the body.
Without the body of it.
And they just wear the top of the fez over the crown of their head.
Yeah. And he has no problem accepting it.
Oh no, no problem at all.
You know what I mean? He's endorsing.
Right. Well, you know, he has the Moor of Freising on his crest. So, right. He has the Moor of Freising on his crest. So if Pope John Paul knows, then all the popes before him know.
No.
And then the Pope after him knows what's up.
Pope Benedict.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Benedetto was a Moor friar, a monk, right?
Yeah.
And then you name yourself after a
Moorish monk. Right?
But you were in the SS, but you named yourself after a Moorish monk.
Right? DC Comics again.
Okay.
Right?
Comics.
Mr. Fez.
No, that's his name.
That's his name.
His name's Mr. Fez.
Mr. Fez.
Right. Fez.
Everybody knows what's up. Everybody knows what's up. Except these idiots that people listen to talking about they're going to a lecture. When they're abandoning and making you abandon your birthright. Which is a right to have a national headwear. You have a right to that.
And a lot of people may think like it's kind of like a hat. They may not understand it. What does a hat have to do with my birthright? But there's a science behind
Right? There's another one there of yes man.
Even his garb, like
Yeah.
not forget the hat, his clothes itself.
Yeah. Right. And then you already know the Moors
Gold bang.
are the Nagas. That's why he's a serpent. The name Askar is the Arab word for soldier. The Eritrean Askari originated from a mercenary Arab group employed by the Ottoman Empire and called Basi Buzuks, Basci Buzuks, Basque Buzuks. Well, Eritrea is in
Africa.
That's in Africa. Okay. Okay. Right.
This brother's his probably his father was rocking this, his grandfather was rocking this, his great grandfather was rocking this.
And then remember that it's originating from a mercenary or a bunch of mercenary Arabs, right? The name of these individuals, a bunch of mercenary Arabs that were employed by the Ottoman Empire, which the Turkish, whatever we see today, came out of.
Yes.
But prior to the Ottoman Empire was the Moorish Empire. And the Ottoman Empire was founded when the Moorish Empire fell.
That was Osman the first.
Over on that side, Osman Bey. Osman Bey the first, right? And again, we're talking about the same place where these guys say that they were stolen from, and they want to go repatriate to, and all this foolishness, right? Eritrean Askari.
So again, this is still in Eritrea.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is still those people.
Got a couple friends from Eritrea, so I'm gonna ask.
Yeah. And more than likely,
pictures, or have they seen like this is a normal?
And more than likely, they'll make it that the Askari were working for the colonists. Just remember Congo and how they had the fezzes up when they came in, right? As soon as the colonizers came in, right, they used their own people from whatever territory, make them be part of their army, and then throw a fez on them, and make them go around the world or go around that territory and rocking the fez, slaughtering their own people, to give the fez a bad name, right? Because it's all about putting things in place so that the people abandon their birthright. Doing things so the people abandon their birthright. Put a guy up there to say whatever so the people abandon their birthright. Every
individual
action
has to abandon it.
Right.
And they can only trick you, the individual, into abandoning it. They could do all this sideshow stuff, but they can't really take it from themselves.
Right. Because it's a right. They can't take it from you. You have to consent to giving it up. And that's what all these individuals out there, right, that push the idea of why are they wearing a fez? Right? Are you a Mason? No. Yeah, but no. You know, right? So, for example, right, British East Africa, right? So this is a picture that SETI would show to say, you know, but look, it's the British East Africa. So when the Britons took over, the Moors were the ones working for the British to colonize Africa. That happened everywhere where the European went, right? That's their play. Get the indigenous people to be their army.
Yeah. Like, think about it. You're in the army. You don't have a helmet. You have a fez on.
You got a fez on in the army.
But in the British Army, they got a helmet.
Right. You know what I mean? Right. Now this was interesting. Generally, denizens of shallow waters, Moorish idols prefer flat reefs. The fish may be found in depths from 3 to 180 meters, 9.8 to 590 feet, in both murky and clear conditions. Their range includes East Africa, the Indian Ocean, Ducie Islands, Hawaii, southern Japan, and all of Micronesia. They are also found from the southern Gulf of California south to Peru. The Moorish idol got its name from the Moors of Africa, the Moors of Spain, the Moors of America, right? Not the Moors of, Australia or the Moors of Asia, the Moors of Africa. For all those people who say that there's no connection to Moors in Africa, only the northern part. Right? Who purportedly believed the fish to be a bringer of happiness. Moorish idols are also popular aquarium fish, but despite their popularity, they are notorious for short aquarium lifespans and sensitivity. Right? Short aquarium lifespans and sensitivity. Right? Just like the Moors, when you take them out of their natural habitat of being themselves, like Noble Jwali said, be yourself or whatever, that's a natural habitat. When you take us out of our natural habitat, we have short lifespans, right? Very short lifespans, because I think somebody 15 or something got shot the other day or whatever, right? And sensitivity, which goes back to that whole belief thing that we were talking about. Everybody's sensitive about the facts. You can't be sensitive about the truth. It is what it is. Just accept it and let's keep it moving, right? So the Moorish idol fish.
That's what they call this fish.
Yeah, the Moorish idol. Right? And then you see he has this tassel.
Yeah, right? That's what I was gonna say. The tassel.
Right? Or the feather. Right? The feather that's going back like this. Right? Okay. Right? So we have the Moor fish. Now we have the Moorish idol fish. Right? And remember, their range includes East Africa, the Indian Ocean, the Ducie Islands, Hawaii, southern Japan, and all of Micronesia. They are also found from the southern Gulf of California south to Peru.
Everywhere.
Oh yeah, no, just like the Moors. We're everywhere. Just like the jurisdiction of Moors extended. Oh, let me just read that quick fast since we're here.
On a paper? Or?
Yeah, no, it's right here. Let's just touch that quick fast. Right? Egypt, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa. Their dominion, speaking about the Moors, their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa, across the Great Atlantis, even onto present North, South, Central America, and also Mexico and the adjoining islands. Right? And then the Moorish idols, their range includes East Africa, Indian Ocean, Ducie Islands, Hawaii, southern Japan, and all of Micronesia. They are also found from the southern Gulf of California south to Peru. Right? But if that's not enough, there's a Yoruba.
Okay, Africa.
Yeah. Oh, so you already know. As soon as you say Yoruba,
Yeah, well, I mean,
like it says automatic.
I know what you're talking about.
All right, okay. So just because you say Yoruba, it just has that African feel, right? Okay. So here's a carving, Yoruba Ibeji carving, right? Okay. This is Yoruba. No. So Ghana. Nigeria, these places, where majority of these people say that, oh yeah, that's where we come from, the west part of Africa.
Yeah, this part and that part. And
the west part, right? The west part, and they have fezzes there, right? And again, just like the statues, they're not gonna put it in stone or create it in an image form if it wasn't something they were looking at. If it wasn't something that they had in their mind as a thought, they would have had to experience it to put it out there. Right? African tribal drummer boy. African tribal drummer boy.
So from the organ grinder to the drummer boy, everyone's rocking the fez.
Right. Everyone's fez up. African drummer boy.
Tribal.
Right, and we already know if you're talking tribes, you're talking indigenous people. Which logically why they'll have drummer boy with a wooden fez on and a wooden tassel with the ball. With the ball. Right. Because it's obvious. Right. Now, this is Muhammad Ali El-Tahir, born 1896. 1896, right? Now, when these people show a Turk and then show the fez, you know what I mean, and try to imply, you know, whatever, right? What does it mean with this man from, so 1896, 1900s, right? So he would have been around, right? Now, don't forget, you're going to go research Muhammad Ali El-Tahir, Mohamed Eltahir, right? Born in Palestine. Right?
Born in Palestine.
Right?
And so then, he's not a Christian. He's not rocking the Christian garb. He's not rocking Jewish garb. He's not rocking Moorish or Muslim garb. He's rocking this.
Yeah.
This is
his flex. And then notice his, you know, his bow tie there. You know who wears bow ties, and also had fezzes. Right. So if he has a bow tie and a fez, and Elijah Muhammad has a bow tie and a fez, right? That means Elijah Muhammad was obviously taught. He obviously had a certain degree of knowledge to be rocking the fez. Right? Right? Untitled, dressed in a loose bubu, a white smock, and a black fez. This wonderful giant, known to everyone as Bamako, is proud of his lovely daughter. Seydou Keita is the best known figure in West African photography today. He opened a photography studio in his home in 1948 and proceeded to capture the dignity and modernity of African subjects under colonial rule. Keyti died in Paris in November 2001 while preparations were underway for a solo exhibition in New York. Right? So there's the artist brother right there, or photographer I mean. Right? And the picture untitled, right? The friendly giant that everybody knows as Bamako, right? And don't forget this is West African. Right? It's West African. And they clearly say that he's wearing a black fez. So does this mean that the West Africans stole this from the Turks? I guess the West Africans stole fezzes from the Turks, I guess, right? Like that must be how it goes, because if the Moors stole the stuff from the Turks, and this is Africa, right, where these people say that they come from, on a slave ship, then that means these guys are sellouts just like the Moors, and they sold each other into slavery too. If they got a fez on, and the fez means that they're Arabs, right? The fez means that they're slave traders. So that means West Africans were involved in the slave trade because they wore a fez, right? That's how dumb these people make you look. When you don't do your own research and you're following them, clapping behind them, when they have no intention of freeing the people. Their whole intention is to keep you enslaved in blackness, keep you enslaved by blackness, keep you enslaved through blackness, and make you abandon your birthright and your headdress of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. Don't think they don't know what they're doing. Right.
White smock.
Don't forget, West African. Where these people say that they come from in the slave trade. West Africa. Wearing a black fez.
Not East Africa, West Africa.
Right? In 1311, Abu Bakr II, the Emperor of Mali, set sail across the Atlantic with a 1,000 vessel fleet.
What year is this? Sorry?
1311.
1311. Before Columbus.
Yeah, right? With a 1,000 vessel fleet. And thus the Mandingo Moors, who in the Americas became known as Nantico, joined the earlier Welsh Moors who became known as Mandan. The Malian voyage is recorded by the Egyptian historian Ibn Fadullah al-Umari. So IBN FADLULLAH al-UMARI. In fact, in 1750, a Moravian missionary, J.C. Parlius, Pyrlaeus, visited the Nanticote nation on Maryland's eastern shore to compile a vocabulary of their language. Years later, all their words were discovered to form a language that was pure African Mandingo. And that's from Black Indians, William Lawrence Katz, page 109. And there's a Malian.
So a brother like this in 1300 set up 1,000 vessels. Forget 3, because Columbus took like a handful. Like 5. I give him 5.
Vessels.
Still
Right? 1,000 vessels.
Let's get 1,000 ships going.
Let's get 1,000 ships.
You don't get 1,000 ships. Right? You don't get 1,000 ships ready and not know where you're going.
Where you're going, right? Where do you get these 1,000 ships? You know what I mean? Right?
Alright, did you send word to other did other people?
You know, you borrow ships from people, or these are your ships?
We're gonna make a trek. I got 500 ships.
Yeah.
I need another 500, and then you make a couple calls to some Asia. Yeah,
1,000 ships.
But you took 1,000 ships across.
Right. And remember, it's not Africans or all these labels that did this great feat. It was Moors. And this is in Mali, which is in the place where
supposedly
these guys say they come
the trade
from.
was going on. And
okay, 1311. Right, ships, not a ship or 3 ships or whatever. Ships.
Mandingo Moors.
Mandingo Moors, Malian, right? And another Malian. Right? And everything Moorish. Right. It's amazing what you do when you do a little research. Not even much. Because that's how you know that people have motives. Right? That's how you know people have motives. When you punch in, Turkey and fezzes, Osman Bey is going to come up. Guaranteed. So if you do images, a picture of Osman Bey has to come up.
Yeah.
Has to.
Yeah.
You're not going to go on there and Osman Bey not come up. Right? But what's their motive? That you abandon your birthright. It was like we did a event at Asha Kwesi lecture on the weekend, right?
Yes.
And we had the table set up or whatever, and the only thing that we can hear all day, right? No matter who came to the table, right? This group. Well, the Moorish group is how does your group do
what is this?
is your religion, whatever. All that stuff is coming from YouTube stuff and SETI and King Noble and these jokers, huh? Right?
Confusing.
That's not coming from people's own thought. That's incepted blackness.
It's an inception
right?
business.
That we are like, and then, because our whole thing is, okay, stop them at every point, right? Where they make an error. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, well, this group, all right, well, stop right there. This is a nation. Yeah. It's not a group of anything. This is your birthright. It's for you to clear. Well, hold on, stop right there. You can't say black, because we're not black people, we're Moors, right? And this thing went on and went on all day, right? And it's like I don't want to even call it brainwash, you know what I mean? Because it's not even them, you know what I mean? It's stuff that they've accumulated. But that doesn't have any reference points to anything. It's just dead ends. Like you just have bare dead ends. Is your studies lead to a dead end, and then you just stop right there. We'll just stop there.
Don't go any further.
Came over on slave ship. Oh, for real? Okay, bam. Let's go with that. And that's it.
Okay, let's just.
You know what I mean? No research. No, you're not checking that out. You know what I mean? You know what's things that, and that's how enough of these pictures came up, because the lecture is playing, and then as he says something, I just just quick check, see what what he's talking about. You know what I mean? And 60% of the stuff, right, that SETI had in this thing was leading to dead ends. 60%. And you're just hearing people in the back, woo! Oh, you got you guys there, and all that. Right? When these guys are straight lying to people. Like straight lying. Right?
Straight lying to people.
Stone Town, Zanzibar Island, Tanzania.
Stone Town.
Stone Town.
Tanzania? Zanzibar, Tanzania?
Yeah. Right? So the same place where all these people come from or whatever, right?
Probably, I mean, I've seen some pictures of Zanzibar, so I'm not going to be that surprised, but...
Though the Zanzibar wooden door has been removed, I came to truly admire this Moorish-style former high court in Stone Town, Zanzibar. The overall weathering, pairing with the aging of the structure, has turned this building into a remarkable deserted structure.
Deserted structure.
Deserted structure.
No one, it's just empty.
So it's just empty, just sitting there.
I should just go live in that. Look at that. I should just go stay in there. I'll live there.
The Moorish style former high court in Tanzania. Moorish style. Right? The only way Moorish style stuff is getting to Tanzania is if the Moors were there. Or if the Moors are there. And if there were Moors there, probably fezzes there. More than likely.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to go out on a limb and say, yeah. Because there's nothing else to say. Right? Moorish style. And you know it's Moorish style because you see the keyhole right there. Right?
That's a
or the acorn head. Right?
It's an impressive building.
Which means Moors.
Okay, yes, above the
no, former high court. Right? It's so, like, you know, when they show old movies and whatever, when everybody finds out that one guy in town is the guy that's been robbing everybody or whatever, and they all just go with the pitchforks and the flames and whatever, just at this man's house, just beating the door down, gonna get this guy. That's what they have to do to these black guys pushing foolishness to them. But they're not gonna do that, right? They're gonna come at Cujo. You know what I mean? Because Cujo said a European's his brother. Oh my gosh, no, you can't say that. Noble Ali said. Yeah, but like, you mean that's what you guys complaining about? When these guys selling you out and you guys aren't going at them and they're selling out the people? You know what I mean? Right? Right now, it's Zanzibar we're talking about still.
Yeah.
Right? Now, why is there some Tanzanians in Zanzibar called the Sufi Brotherhood wearing fezzes?
This is not a new brotherhood. This is not like something they made up yesterday, or
you can't make this up yesterday. The Sufi Brotherhood in Tanzania, and they're wearing fezzes. How come they're not the Shiite Brotherhood or the Sunni Brotherhood? Why are they the Sufi Brotherhood and wearing fezzes? Right? Like, that's a lesson of how broad the scope of the Moors is. That when Noble Ali in Historical Message talks about the Moors as Mohammedans, he's not talking about some Sunnis and Shiites. He's talking about Sufis.
Us doing our thing.
He's talking about highly mystical individuals. Highly mystical. They might even do some stuff in front of you, make you blink a little bit. Right? because it's not the African Brotherhood. It's not even the Tanzanian Brotherhood.
Not the Zanzibar Brotherhood.
Right? The Sufi Brotherhood.
That word is in there.
That word's in there. Right? All of them wearing fezzes. This is the continent where all these people say that they come from. And the black false leaders, right? The black agents, black power, black supremacy, all those people there, right? They're going to say that fezzes have nothing to do with the continent as a whole. And this is Tanzania, brothers wearing fezzes, called the Sufi Brotherhood.
So from Mali to Zanzibar to Eritrea,
right across,
right across
the
Sahara Desert, these people
right
rocking it from North Morocco down
right, which means everybody really knows except these people in North America. Like everybody really knows, like everybody, because when we went to Japan, showed fezzes.
So the heads are rocking.
We went to Easter Island, show fezzes, right?
To British Columbia,
Asia, right? Indonesia, Philippines.
Us here are just
all over the continent of Africa, Europe, Spain, India, all these places, Americas, South, North, Central, Caribbean islands, everywhere. Everybody knows about Islam and the customs of Islam, right? Everybody knows what's up, right? And then when Moors talk, you know, it's not even considered. Right? It's not even considered. Right? 360ing. Right back again to why am I going to say that these people are my brothers? Right?
Oh yeah, check out
this executive order, King Alfred Plan. It was written by Europeans, pale nations of Europe.
The Caucasian
claim that the minority are blacks, Indians, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, and poor whites.
Latinos and poor whites.
Poor whites imply people that have low concentrations of melanin, but they're not pale. People like grandma in the thing. Poor whites.
Latinos even.
You know what I mean? Right? And it doesn't have to be spelt out.
1969.
Right? 69.
Why they want 3 6s in the year?
Okay. Right? Divine origin of the Asiatic nations. The fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know of their higher self and lower self. This is the uniting of the Quran of Mecca, the Holy Quran of Mecca, for teaching and instructing all Moorish Americans, etc. The key of civilization was and is in the hands of the Asiatic nations. The Moorish, who were the ancient Moabites and founders of this holy city of Mecca, are Asiatics, right? The Egyptians, who were the Hamites and the direct descendants of Mizraim, right? Those are Asiatics. The Iranians, who set this in, those are Asiatics. The seed of Hagar, Japanese and Chinese.
Seed of Hagar.
Right? Which is why Lei Ping could come to class. Right? And she's Manchurian or Chinese. Right? And she's on it harder than Moors who are dark skinned.
It's funny, it says Hagar there.
Yeah.
And they have the comic strip, Hagar the Terrible.
Yeah,
or whatever
Hagar
it
the
is.
Terrible.
And he has the Viking cap and he goes around like conquering or, you know what I mean? Just on like
exactly.
They make it look away. They mess with your perception to give up your nationality.
The Hindus of India. The descendants of the ancient Canaanites, Hittites, and Moabites from the land of Canaan. The Asiatic nations and countries in North, South, and Central America. Right?
North, South, Central America.
The Moorish Americans and the Mexicans in North America. Brazilians, Argentinians, and Chileans in South America. Colombians, Nicaraguans, and the natives of San Salvador in Central America, etc. Etc. You mean that more, but
etc.
there's no more. We can't put any more. Right? All these are Muslims. The Turks are the true descendants of Hagar. Again, right? Who are the chief protectors, and then he used to protect the
little one.
The little one, right?
Yeah, his little red there.
Right? Chief protectors of the Islamic creed of Mecca, beginning from Muhammad I, the founder of the uniting of Islam, by the command of the great universal God Allah. Right? The Asiatic nations and countries in North, South, and Central America. Right? North, South, and Central America. The Moorish Americans and Mexicans in North America. Right? So he's
laying it out.
Yeah. That the Mexicans and the Moorish Americans are the only two jurisdictions in North America. There's only Mexicans and Moorish Americans.
That's it.
That's it. Right? So you have to either be one of those two in this jurisdiction. Right? Brazilians, Argentinians, and Chileans in South America. So he says who's in the South. He said who's in the North. And then he said Colombians, Nicaraguans, and natives of San Salvador, Central America. Right? Etc. Because Central America is really the Caribbean, the Atlantis Islands.
There's more.
It's really really Central America. Yeah, right.
Etc.
Etc. Etc. Right. The beginning of Christianity. The foundation of Christianity began in Rome. The Roman nations founded the first church, of whom crucified Isa of Nazareth for seeking to redeem his people from under the Roman yoke and law. Never called him Jesus here.
No.
Isa himself was of the true blood of the ancient Canaanites and Moabites and the inhabitants of Africa. Seeking to redeem his people in those days from the pressure of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, again, Rome crucified him according to their law. Then Europe had peace for a long time until Muhammad I came upon the scene and fulfilled the works of Isa of Nazareth. The holy teaching of Isa was to the common people to redeem them from under the great pressure of the hands of the unjust, that the rulers and the rich would not oppress the poor, Also that the lion and the lamb may lay down together, and neither would be harmed when morning came. These teachings were not accepted by rulers, neither by the rich, because they loved the principles of the 10 Commandments. Through the 10 Commandments, the rulers and the rich live, while the poor suffer and die. The lamb is the poor people, the lion is the rulers and the rich. And through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, all men are one and equal to seek their own destiny and to worship under their own vine and fig tree, after the principles of the holy and divine laws of their forefathers.
Holy and divine laws.
Holy and divine laws of their forefathers. So if Greeks' forefathers are Egyptians, if Italians' forefathers are Moors, if Portuguese forefathers are Moors, Germans' forefathers are Moors, British forefathers are Moors, English forefathers are Moors, Irish forefathers are Moors, Scottish forefathers are Moors, Scandinavian forefathers are Moors. All these people that are really part of Asia, because Europe's not a continent.
Exactly. Right? That's another fraud that people have to...
There's no such thing as Europe and Europeans and whatever.
The way they drew that, every other continent, there's a divide.
Right.
There's
obvious, something
you see why this is this continent
and this is that.
But Europe is just, okay, we just drew this line here. How did you just arbitrarily, you just pick this, like, okay, that's it, we just made this.
Right.
But you're part of the larger landmass.
This is why we talked about it before. So-called Chinese could go into Africa and make claims. They'll even call them black so they can do business there. Because Africa and Asia is a mirror of the Americas, and the Americas are a mirror of it. There's a north part, a central part, and a south part, and that's it. Right? Oh yeah, and somebody said that I missed the French people.
Oh, okay.
French are Moors too.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Moorish. Right?
Mediterranean.
Right? And all the continents begin with A, which is a pyramid. The only one that doesn't is Europe. Right? Even though it was really, Europe was really called Albion, which is a A. It's a pyramid anyways. Because the Moors were the ones who took them there. To the Angle, A-N-G-L-E, Angle land. That became known as England. And then William Mackey has a good, just check out Professor William Mackey, and he has some good lectures on the history of England and all that stuff.
Okay. He's an English guy?
No, brother.
Okay.
Yeah. Right?
Or from America?
Yeah, I believe so. Right? What's that? Put something else out there too. Montauk. Right, since we were talking about the Sufis, right? Page 397. After the advent of the Prophet of Islam, countless Moors from Morocco made pilgrimages to Mecca, but virtually all of them accomplished this by first traveling through Jerusalem. This was not only their third holiest city, but had housed all of the great prophets of the line of Abraham. It was also known as the premier center of learning in the Mideast. Scholars and students came from all over, but most of them were predominantly Moors from Morocco. By the time of the Crusades, the Moors were part and parcel of the territory around the Dome of the Rock. If you consider the Sufi influence of that time period, coupled with that of the Assassins and Hassan Saba, you will be wise to recognize that the Moors were very much a part of the underground network and mysteries of Solomon's Temple. In fact, the rise of Hugh de Paynes, the founder of the Knights Templar, has been indelibly etched in a circuitous way upon the legacy of the Moors, but we will touch on that a bit later. One of the documents with regard to Moorish occupation of the area near the Moors Gate is from Ben Jubeir, B-E-N-J-U-B-E-I-R, a Muslim traveler during the Crusades who reported that many Moors had volunteered to serve in the army of Noureddin Zenki, Noureddin Zenky. As the latter fell ill, he was impressed by the fact that the Moors had fought very well. As a result, Zenki volunteered that if he were to regain his health, he would see that any captured Moors would be freed. When Saladin defeated the Crusaders, Zenki made good on his promise and offered any Moors safe passage back to Morocco. Instead, the Moors decided to stay in Jerusalem, as Jerusalem was a great place of learning and needed to be defended if necessary. Consequently, Saladin's successor designated the area of Al-Bak for the Moors and set up a school for them in conjunction with them. This claim to Moorish ownership was corroborated in 1320 when a Muslim scholar named Abu Medin, A-B-U-M-A-D-E-I-N, indicated two places which were willed to the Moors in perpetuity, one of them being near the Moors Gate. The document delineates specific details about how the Moors would elect an estate attendant who would manage the monies collected by use of the property. It indicated that there were considerable fertile regions as well as storage facilities and other income-producing characteristics of the property. In Islamic tradition and in pre-Islamic tradition, then there's a little star there, star. There is a tradition amongst Moors, and a very solid one, that the word Islam as well as the movement predated the advent of Muhammad, who was received as a prophet of Islam. Islam is commonly and not incorrectly defined as meaning peace, particularly as it is phonetically related to the Hebrew word shalom. But Islam has also been long defined as meaning surrender or yielding, both signifying a feminine attribute. The Islamic tradition and pre-Islamic tradition, such as an arrangement, is denoted as waqf. This designation means that the property is in the custody of a manager who dedicates the income towards a benevolent civic or religious function. The monies produced are to be used for erecting and caring for a mosque or similar shrine. It is specific. In this specific case, the land was to be used for homeless or needy Moors and even passers-by. The specifications of the contract required that the lease be renewed biannually on the same day so that no alterations could be engineered. The idea of a waqf is also sacred to the Palestinians, that its desecration would be similar to the inhumanity of torturing ill people in a hospital. Eventually, these Moorish properties were confiscated in 1948 and 1967 by Israel, reportedly for security reasons. I have thus far been unable to find much information of any kind regarding the specific details of this matter and what all of the various nuances and implications are. It is amazing that there is no discussion or debate on any of these issues, let alone the Moorish issue. If you liken the Palestinian conflict to the World Wrestling Federation, you have two opponents being propped up by a promoter who is profiting by the dramatizations on both sides. You have to look at the promoter. Right? Whoever he might be, he has also been profiting by obscuring the Moorish heritage.
Obscuring.
Keep in mind all the people who's pushing the, come on my DVD and let's do a debate and let's do whatever, and right? The promoters, right? Who is profiting by dramatizations on both sides, right? So you have the promoter, then you have this guy debating this guy, right? But both sides are
adding to the
dramatization. It appears to me that if one were to follow up on all the threads connected to the Moorish land in Palestine, that it might resolve the entire issue. The Moorish issue, however, has far deeper implications than a religious skirmish among Semitic people in Palestine. This dispute, however, is one of the most intriguing struggles in the world because of the rich archetypical symbology that is not only inherent in the two contending parties, but by reason of the mythos of the disputed ground itself. Israel would seem to have a more ancient claim, but this is a claim that is essentially backed up by a religious document, the Old Testament. The Moors can also make an ancient claim to Mount Moriah, but the problems we are now encountering in such an argument is one of the component judicial jurisdiction. There is none because it is a religious issue. Organizations such as the United Nations and World Court are secular organizations, nor do they have a reputation of effectiveness for resolving much of anything. For all the UN people who like to go to UN and
think that you'll get an answer, or you're getting something from the
resolution. UN, right? In such disputes, we are dealing with power and are once more in the realm of Pluto. All you can do is dispense truth in the form of leaking water and let nature take its course. The word religion itself offers a clue in that it stems from the Latin regilioso, which means to link back. Investigating the Moor's Gate is more than a good place to start in this regard. What is most significant, however, is that the Moors are hardwired into the entire schematic of the Holy Land in such a way that ultimately they cannot be ignored. Though virtually none of our major world politicians could admit it, the Moors are not only a part of the infrastructure of Jerusalem, but of the entire world and its political structure. It is, however, very mysterious. Many of the politicians are not too savvy at all with regard to what I am speaking of, but they are key players who are. The Moorish issue is like a secret code, but it is not one they really use. They, of course, know about it and mimic it with some of their secret symbolisms in an attempt to siphon off the power. They would never actually use this Moorish code itself because it is tantamount to making their house of cards fall down. You see, this Moorish code I am referring to is another word for revelation. But I am not talking about a canned stereotype version of revelation that you might hear a so-called religious zealot talk about. Exposing this Moorish code reveals the truth, and the truth leads to more and more revelation of what things really are. It is more like a tsunami wave that is about to hit our culture. It may be far off on the horizon right now, but it is just a matter of time before it hits the shore. When I said above that there are few deeper implications to the Moorish issue than a religious skirmish in Palestine, I am referring to how it might affect the world economy and the shores of the United States. There are a lot of things to reconcile, but I am not referring to slave reparations. The injustice of slavery is really just the top of the iceberg. The issues I have really referred to in this book reach far beyond human slavery. If everyone, not just the so-called black people, are going to find their way back home, they need to know the truth. As a whole, society is not ready to go whole track, so we can begin at the Moor's gate. Right?
Not just the so-called blacks.
Not just the so-called blacks.
To find their way back.
And again, that was from Montauk Book of the Dead, Peter Moon, who people would say is a European.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Oh, and this book is in the Library of Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Which means they know. And Noble Drawley said that he's going to make the European tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And he just told the truth.
Mm-hmm.
The Moors are going to cast him away because he's... I'm not amalgamating with the European nation, so I'm not going to read the European book. But you have a cell phone that I'm pretty sure that's a European company that owns that cell phone you got. And that cable you got. And that car that you got.
But when you want to indulge in those things,
it's okay.
It's okay.
Europeans are your best friend when you need to get some gas or whatever. You know what I mean? Europeans are best friend when it's time for, Nikes and whatever. Right? Army jackets with the, patches on the side and whatever. Right? Joker smokers. So the key of today was just showing fezzes all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So people see that it's not just a Moroccan thing or Philippine thing or Turkish thing or whatever. Fezzes is international.
Mm-hmm.
Stone statues wear fezzes.
Wooden carvings.
You know what I mean? Wooden carvings.
People.
Right? And it starts with Moors, just like how light bulb went off and you just changed the Facebook name just because you're like, hold on a second,
and everyone's like, what is this?
And then everybody's like, what is are you Jewish now? No. Yeah, but no. Right? Because right? And those are the people that are going to come into the movement, and then something's going to happen, right? Right? I was talking to one of the Moors today in Cali.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
We talk about it's only once the active Moors are doing what they're supposed to do, everything's going to be all right. Because nobody else matters. Passive Moors don't matter, because Noble Drawley said all Moors are active. So if you're passive, sorry, you don't matter.
You don't count.
Yeah, right? If you're religious, you don't matter. Because you're sitting down there talking about, Noble Drawley hymns and singing and whatever in the temple, when Peter Moon, the European, told you religion comes from religio, means to look back. Which means honor your foremothers and forefathers, so your days would be numbered on the earth land. And if you fail to do those things, you're in trouble. And we fail to do those things, and we're in trouble. And not only us, everybody's in trouble right now. Which is why we have to get on that humanity accord. We have to get on that Rotarian complexion that the Moors are supposed to have. Because when we ruled Spain, there's Europeans living there under the Moors as Moorish subjects, living good.
Everything in order.
Street lights and sidewalks, sewage, and like
education,
everything,
work,
whatever it is that they needed, they got it under the Moors. So why would it be any different in this time? Because like we said, you're not getting those people on no boat to go back to no caves. They're not going. And even if that was your plan, that's their second home. Their first home is Argentina. So didn't Noble Drew Ali say that Argentina's part of
Brazil,
Argentina,
Chile,
North, South, Central America, or whatever like that. Okay, right? Yeah, they can't amalgamate. Show me somewhere where Noble Drew Ali says that they can't amalgamate, or show me somewhere in their stuff that says they can't amalgamate with us. Yeah, we shouldn't want to amalgamate with them because those are colonists. Because remember, we're talking about the pale skin nations of Europe. We're not talking about the darker
the more
skin, nations of Europe. Talking about the pale ones. Not talking about Granny and the thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Talking about the ones that we're not supposed to amalgamate with, the pale skin ones. So if there's a swarthy European, then you better bring them up.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's all good because they qualify. You know what I mean? They pass the brown paper bag test. You know, how close do you look to this brown paper bag? You look close to this brown.
Okay, you're good to go, sir. All right, good to go. All right.
Right. So you know what's up. You know what's good. So again, that was Man Talk. Obviously, we had King Alfred's plan, just to cover today. Clock of Destiny. 1. Clock of Destiny 1. And Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I want to say Islam to all the Moors online. Islam to all the Moors that are active, not passive. Islam to the nation. You know what I mean? And of course, highest honors to Allah for sending us the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who, without Noble Drew Ali, we would probably all be in some camp right now, lost in the sauce.
Lost in some sauce.
Right. And don't forget Saturday and Sunday, the natural hair show. If you're in Canaanland, the natural hair show is going on, and that's on TorontoNaturals.ca is the website. And that's it. Close out. And don't forget Blog Talk Radio coming up at 9:30.
Saying you're on that.
I might take a pass tonight still. Catch up Blacks. Eyes Wide Open. MHHS Eyes Wide Open Blog Talk. 9:30 p.m. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through His holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Peace, Hotep. Islam, Moors.